What was once the Polk County Courthouse now serves as the Polk County History Center and houses the Historical Museum and Library. The museum serves Polk's community through special events, volunteer opportunities, and educational programs. More details are coming up next on Polk Place. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Tina Mann, and joining me in the studio today is Marta Young, the Historic Preservation Manager at the Polk County History Center.
Hello, Tina.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So let's talk briefly about November events, because I know we have some really exciting things coming up that we'll want to get more into depth with. So one thing in November, cemetery tours are back, correct?
Right. It's really funny. I think the temperatures dropped about 3 degrees, so we thought it's fall. We can go back and do our outside walking tours. So yes, in November, Saturday, November 3rd at 11 o'clock, we will launch the cemetery tour. That's the historic Oak Hill Cemetery. And we'll do that again through April.
Excellent. And also, just as normal, our last Lunch and Learn of the year is scheduled for November 20th.
And that is going to be about the Third Seminole War, which is a very important period in our history, because after that period of time is when we really started seeing settlement and develop more in the central part of the state. So that should be a very interesting discussion with the Meisels.
As always, you guys have some holiday closures coming up. What are those this year?
For the Thanksgiving holiday, we'll be closed Thursday and Friday, and then open again on Saturday, and then be closed Sunday, Monday, back on Tuesday for the regular schedule through Christmas.
And that's a perfect lead-in, because Saturday would be a perfect day to come visit the History Center and see all the decorated wreaths.
That's right.
Because upcoming is the Festival of Wreaths. Let's talk a little bit about that.
This is so interesting to me. I cannot believe, when I think about it, this is the 8th year of the celebration of the Festival of Wreaths. And, you know, it is a time that we extend an opportunity to our friends, historical associations, other museums, other departments in the county. Anybody who has a little talent for decorating a wreath, we invite them to decorate a wreath. So it gives us a chance to have the museum beautifully decorated for the holidays, and gives us a little spirit of competition. And they are auctioned off, and that is actually going to open, the festivities open November 9th, Friday at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And this year, for the 3rd year, the Frost-Proof Middle and Senior High School Chorus will kick off that event with a singing a cappella music, holiday music in the rotunda. And you know, they just are so talented.
They really
this
are.
little small school down in our small community of Frost-Proof, and they just have, they've received so many honors. You know, in 2017, they were invited to perform at Carnegie Hall. And this year, we just learned last week, they've been invited to perform at the White House. So we're so proud. Our, you know, Frost-Proof, our lovely little community down in the southeastern side of the county, these beautiful voices, beautiful students will come for the 3rd year and perform a cappella holiday music in the rotunda. And while they're performing, people are, you know, welcome to walk around the museum and enjoy the wreaths and bid on their wreath that they want to take home.
Excellent. And if they do want to bid online, of course, they just go to the polkhistorycenter.org and click on the wreath icon, and they can bid from there. New this year, I'm excited that Santa is coming. Why don't you tell us about that?
This is really fun. This is new. Santa will be in the museum for the evening of the Festival of Wreaths. And he will be available for selfie photos with the visitors that are there. And in addition to that, you know, Santa always selects the Santa's Choice wreaths, and they wind up with the little gold seal, and they are designated as Santa's Choice. The other thing that's really fun, and I've had a sneak preview, so I can tell you it's pretty exciting, Santa is going to provide a history of the story of Santa Claus.
That's awesome.
So in the 1926 courtroom, during one of the performances, Santa will tell us the history of Santa. we are going to be the first in Polk County, I think, to have the history of Santa in the History Center.
That sounds like so much fun. So they definitely don't want to miss that out, miss that, opportunity to see Santa, see the wreaths, and to bid. And of course, bidding ends on December 13th.
December 13th, that is correct.
And now, let's talk about Veterans Day this year. It's a very important Veterans Day, and there's some very important events surrounding it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, we have been, through this past year, commemorating the United States involvement, the centennial year of the United States involvement in World War I. And we curated an exhibit at the museum that is about Polk County's involvement and the national involvement in World War I. The exhibit actually had been planned, we had planned to strike it on Veterans Day on November 11th this November 11th coming, but it's been so popular and it is such an important story of our history, we're continuing the exhibit. So the World War I exhibit will continue for another year. Now, for the celebration of the commemoration of the end of World War I, the Bells of Peace will be celebrated around the world on November 11th, and that is originally called Armistice Day, and that was the end of the war. So a very special thing for Polk County is that right at Bok Tower Gardens, our carillioner, Gert de Hollander, was commissioned to produce a piece of music for carillioners to be played by all carillioners for the commemoration of the end of the war. So he commissioned a piece of music that he has named the Sacred Suite, and it is for carillioners. It will begin in Europe at 11:30, I think is the time, and then it will be played in concert at Bok Tower Garden, the first time at 1 and then a second time at 3. Very, very special piece of music. It is also a celebration of the city of Leuven in Belgium was pretty much destroyed during the war, and one of the bell towers was out of commission and has been out of commission for 100 years. The bells were destroyed, the tower was destroyed, so as a part of the commemoration, the city of Leuven has restored the bell tower and the bells. So this beautiful piece of music will be played at this tower, the Sacred Suite, commissioned by Gert de Hollander, Bok Tower's carillioner, on November 11th.
So it's an absolutely, just a coup for Polk County that not only do we have Gert because he's amazing, but that he was the one selected from all over the world to commission this piece. And I know that he's actually working on his U.S. citizenship at the same time, correct?
Isn't that a beautiful story? When you go back, and I won't go through the whole history of World War I, but when you consider, the importance of Belgium in the early parts of the war, the fact that this beautiful tower was out of commission. Gert de Hollander is from Belgium, and he's commissioned to write this piece of music, and at the same time this is going on, he earns his United States citizenship. So I understand at this point, he has become a United States citizen from Belgium, bringing his talent and this beautiful piece of music to commemorate this period in history. And I think I remember hearing him say or reading in some of the press releases that he felt that music is such an important it just plays such an important role in healing, and that he was able to contribute this to a worldwide celebration. And we just claim him. He's ours now, United States citizen living right over in the eastern part of the county.
And such an amazing story. And I love the fact that he always tells people that, Bok Tower is the place to be a carillioner because it's the most beautiful one in the world because it's surrounded by these amazing gardens instead of in the middle of buildings and everything else. So, it's just really cool.
And the another chapter to that story is he also he wrote a piece of music for a choir, and the choir is intended to be made up of 1,300 members. the 1,300 members represent the 1,300 Caroliners who lost their lives during World War I. So I can only imagine the beauty of this day. The other really, really wonderful thing about Bach Tower being such a great community partner is this event on November 11th is open. The tower will be open free of charge to veterans. I'll be there.
That sounds excellent. Also, as a part of this worldwide celebration, at noon, there's going to be bells tolling all over the world as well, correct?
That is correct. They begin, I think if I had the schedule correct, 11:30 in Europe, and then the bells will toll and move, across the country. And the bells of peace will be 11:30 bell tolling, and the idea is to have 21 bells ring, I think it's like a minute apart, and representing kind of a 21 gun salute to this period in history, the Great War, the war to end all wars, and to commemorate this period of 100 years later.
That's amazing. So if people hear bells tolling that day, they'll hopefully know why and take a moment to pause and reflect. And it's a very important time in our history, and the continuing fight for our freedoms and the way of life that we're accustomed to.
And to just, give you a small sense of the beauty of peace. And yes, there are, we've been working with our local churches around the county, so people will be hearing the bells tolling in Polk County, in addition to this beautiful sacred suite that will be performed by Garrett the Hollander at Bach Tower Gardens.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to show our viewers a little bit of Garrett playing today, a little bit later on the show, and I'm really glad you got to come out, and this wonderful time of the year to come and visit the History Center. So thank you for coming out today.
Thanks, Tina.
Polk County has a rich history and heritage, and the Polk County History Center is continuously thinking of new ways to help Polk residents experience that history. The museum's collection includes natural and cultural objects related to Polk and the greater Central Florida area that represent our history from pre-Columbian to present-day eras. The artifacts on display at the museum represent individuals, cultural groups, and events significant to the region. Located at 100 East Main Street in Bartow, the History Center is open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. For more information about exhibits and events, you can check them out on the web at polkhistorycenter.org or give them a call at 863-534-4386.